Hey everyone, today we are talking about advertising, Facebook, Instagram, and the alternate versions of advertising. If you have followed any of my content, I am very much an advocate of Instagram and Facebook ads. I think that they do an incredible job and they are very much undervalued in comparison to pretty much everything else out there in the world. That if you wanted to buy a magazine ad, I would way rather put that money into Instagram or Facebook. If you wanted to buy even like your way into a bridal show, I would way rather put that money, that time and effort into actual Facebook, Instagram ads, just because of one, like you get to keep the audience as well, so that the people that you're marketing to, maybe they're going to follow you on Instagram, maybe they're going to follow you on Facebook, and interact with you that way, and that you can actually keep them around. Whereas if they see your image in a magazine, they're probably seeing thousands of other images, and it's a lot harder to get them from a magazine onto your website than it is to get them from an Instagram or Facebook ad into a website, which is kind of the end goal that you want them to inquire, unless you just have lots and lots of money and you want to be everywhere at once and you really want to kind of build that surround sound effect of marketing, which is entirely a reasonable strategy. But I think for just connecting with brides and grooms very easily, very effectively, and cost effectively, which is most important as a growing business, I think that is where I would be putting my money now if I was a newer photographer. The one thing that maybe if Facebook and Instagram, you tried them in the past and they haven't worked, I think it really is important that you create custom content for what those people are coming to your website for. There's lots of examples in Patreon if you're a member over there, and kind of my full walkthrough about how to get people, one, excited to click to your site, and two, sharing your website or at least inquiring, and also just like being delivered an incredible amount of value. So if you're a Patreon member, go check that out. If you're not, maybe consider signing up because there's lots of good stuff in there. But overall, it is important to make content that people actually want to go to rather than just giving them a link to your website that's not really that exciting. That there's lots of other photographers out there doing it. And I think like the funniest thing to watch, and I knew it was going to happen whenever Lindsay and I got engaged, just to see her Facebook feed flip from when we were just in a relationship to when we were engaged, and how every single advertisement then became wedding centric. And as a dude, I don't have that visibility, that I'm not targeted as heavily when I'm an engaged male as engaged females are. Because if you're familiar with Instagram, Facebook advertising, you can target specifically on age, like very specific location, and also marital status. So if they're engaged or even like relationship, if you want to be targeting kind of like pre-engagement, which is also maybe a smart strategy. So that is kind of my thoughts on those. Let's get to the episode now with Stefan again, and he's going to talk a little bit about how much money he spent on ads, but in comparison to like how successful they were, they booked him a full season. So even if you are spending a lot of money on advertising, as long as more money than that, it's scalable, is coming back in. So even if you spend $100,000, to use an extreme example, on advertising next year, if that makes you $400,000, I would say that that's a good $100,000 investment. Even though it might seem pretty insane. I also feel like the stigma of using ads versus organic reach is, hopefully, I don't know, people are getting over it. But if you kind of have the thought in your mind that it's not cool to be advertising and that you need to do it by organic reach, unfortunately, you're not going to book as many weddings as you possibly could with the help of paid traffic as well. All right, so let's get to the interview. I guess looking back kind of on your progression and how you've kind of got to where you are now, is there anything that you'd change or anything that you could tweak or just do a little bit better to maybe get to where you're at, but a little bit faster?
I think that's almost impossible. But I'm not. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of like luck involved if you somehow like have the exact things that the people are looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, it was like a lot of like me learning stuff beforehand. So when I got here, like just based on all the video stuff that I watched or like all the podcasts, I knew most of the mistakes you can run into.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot. Like just, at least in theory, knowing what mistakes I could make.
Mm-hmm.
And then the only thing I didn't really know is how to get the clients. Like there was like,
yeah.
So that's why I just, invested all the money that I made kind of either in gear or in advertisement.
Yeah.
So I spent like 7,000 in ads in the first year. So it was like, got here in March 2015. And so by the end of the year, I spent about 7,000. And it just helped me a lot because I knew like I was like monitoring how much do I actually make from these ads and everything.
Yeah.
So that pretty much made my first full season like so successful. Just having a good mix of mostly advertised clients that found me through advertisement, and then just a few referrals here and there. Yeah, and that, I mean, it's pretty much like making it faster, or like making more money faster would only be possible if you start having associate photographers and like send people out.
Yeah.
But I always wanted to be more of that like boutique thing, where you just are at every wedding you do.
Yeah, I could never.
I think I'm gonna keep it. I thought about it a few times, but I don't know.
I have trust issues. I can't, like, if I'm shooting a wedding and I'm not the backup person for it. So like if they don't show up and I can't fill that role myself, that's like where my trust issue is. So I feel like if I did go to an associate studio, that I would almost have to like step back entirely from shooting weddings, which is not what I want to do. So I totally understand that. It's challenging. I know a few guys that do it and they do very well. And they employ like a lot of their family and things like that, which is awesome. But yeah, it's like, it's an entire different business. You're essentially a manager at that point. And also not being there, it would be so hard to send someone out on your behalf and do kind of all the behind the scenes work. What would you recommend? So you had a lot of success, kind of getting established in advertising. Did you use like Facebook, Instagram as well? Or were you just on different platforms?
I mean, Thumbtack, like I said, then I was at Wedding Wire and The Knot. So those are like the two, main catalogs where you can find all different vendors.
Mm-hmm.
I tried Facebook, didn't really work that well for me. Instagram, I just started like doing this year a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. Somehow, like Facebook, I guess because I didn't do it consistently. I think whatever you decide, whatever kind of marketing you want to do, you should just do it like for at least like 6 months or like a whole year to see the effect.
Yeah, for sure.
And a lot of the money obviously was also just pretty much like wasted. Like let's say I tried like Yelp because I thought, well, like if people are looking for a wedding photographer and like they find me, like, and I'm the only one advertising in my region, that might help because then, it's just like, it's the only one they see.
Mm.
But it just didn't work out at all. I think like Yelp is just not the place people are looking for a wedding photographer.
Yeah. But then like, you never know, like they could see your name there. And then the next time they see your name that they remember it for some reason, or they think that they've heard it before and only because of that. So marketing's fun like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you never really know just because you don't get the booking right from there. It could still be that they found you on that platform first. That's right.
All right, so we're going to leave it there for today. I'll be back again another day with more content from Stefan. I just kind of want to leave you with something that I've been thinking about, at least recently, and that is kind of the surround sound effect of advertising that we talked about at the beginning of this episode and also as part of the episode as well. And that you really do want to have a lot of different points of contact out there because you never really know which method of advertising is going to work the best for you in your specific market at this specific time. I have definitely noticed that certain types of advertising work better in January versus in December versus in the middle of the summer. And also, I think it's important because we are in an industry that people are getting engaged all the time. And while a lot of people are probably getting engaged, at least in North America and I guess like more Christian cultures over Christmas and our New Year's, there is a lot more, I guess, amped up traffic, and it becomes a little bit more expensive to market to those specific couples. And also they're just being barraged with different people trying to advertise to them in wedding shows, and it's a lot. So if you are advertising all year long, $10, $15 a day, one thing it's going to do is it's going to build you a really, really great Instagram following. And the other thing that it's going to do is just catch anybody that just like randomly might have gotten engaged that nobody's like amped up their Instagram advertising presence because it's like the middle of June or something, and they've spent all their money in January and now they're waiting until the fall again. So just kind of keep constant contact out there into the world, and keep building your audience. I think over time is the best way to do it. It's also the best way and the most organic way, I guess, to grow your business as well. That if you book like 50 weddings in January and then none for the rest of the year, it does become a little bit challenging to run a business that way. So I would prefer to get bookings kind of averaged across the entire year rather than kind of all in lump sums. But that's just me. So up to you, whatever way you want to run your business, feel free. As I always say, it's just like you pick bits and pieces or bits and pizzas of different people's brains and put together your own business, and that is how you make something that actually makes you happy. So not everything I say is going to 100% resonate with you, and you should not make everything that I say part of your business, but there are pieces of things that will make you a lot happier in the future and make you a lot more money. So that is all for today. See you tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about Lightroom presets. Woo, exciting, right? I promise it's exciting. It's exciting.